From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on Lalate.
It's a big midday here on Lalate with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 as a $3.5 trillion recon passes that has three clusters of checks in there to start that'll pay viewers upwards of $15,000 across the channel. Hazard pay in cluster number 1, cluster number 2, home repairs, and cluster number 3, seniors, with a world exclusive about where Medicare is going. Meantime, the shocker that no one saw coming, $25,000 being added in there as a proposed addition to that recon. Wow, we got deliciousness. And then, for the first time on this recording, you're going to see as now this channel has delivered 3 million phone calls to one Senate office, and the Chief of Staff is really praising you. We have the latest details about when the recon goes for a vote, how they're getting things added, and new details about student loan debt forgiveness, new details about provisions being added, new details about those IRS monthly stimulus checks, and breaking news about new labor numbers. Boy, they were good. Meantime, your COLA is going up. That means your benefit check in the next few weeks is going to be going up upwards of 6%. This is on top of fifth stimulus and also fourth stimulus, because guess what? Third stimulus is still paying, and I'm going to show you how to go into the weekend with thousands of dollars in your wallet that you didn't have to start the week. It's third stimulus, it's fourth stimulus, it's fifth stimulus, and it's Lalate. We got a big recording with a lot of brand new news starting right here, right now on Afternoons Lalate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Almost made it to the weekend. How are you excited? I am. I hope the weather has been good where you are. It's been beautiful here in Santa Monica. Thank you for joining me on a big LA recording. In this recording, we go over the shocker as an additional $25,000 being added to the recon. Then, the chief of staff of one of the biggest senatorial offices for your recon says you have delivered 3 million calls of advocacy on top of the $15,000 that you're going to get from cluster number 1, cluster number 2, and cluster number 3 that has all been passed. I'll go over what they're doing and when the vote is set and what's getting modified. I'll have the latest details. Then we cut to student loan debt forgiveness, more money being forgiven. Then the great new labor numbers coming out this morning. Wow, it's deliciousness. And guess what? I don't need a donut for this. Then in this recording, we go back over to fifth stimulus and fourth stimulus. As fifth stimulus gets a 6%, gets a raise, but guess what? You don't have to wait till next year because your COLA benefits are going up right now at about 5.8%. It's huge, and it starts right now on a big Afternoons LA. America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is a brand new Evenings LA with a lot of breaking news at 5 o'clock. Then I'm very excited for you, because now 6 o'clock has our hit show Evenings Countdown. 7 o'clock has our hit show Evenings Countdown, and 8 o'clock is Sirloin. But now 9 to 12 is all fourth stimulus on this channel. It's fourth stimulus from back in May. It's all deliciousness, so subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. We got shows literally on the hour, every hour across this channel, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to that. First, a cluster of checks. We have 3 clusters of checks so far in this $3.5 trillion recon that'll pay all viewers like you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, single individual, people that are married, people that are not married, about $15,000. Let's go over each of the clusters of checks starting right now. You qualify for this first hazard pay and also $4,000 of elder care. Well, the hazard pay, they got the earned income tax credit broadened and increased across the board. They broadened the eligibility and then increased the annual payment for those essential workers. Then they got $4,000 of elder care per year in there as well. $4,000 a year to care for young children. Then money to repair the home, totally free. If you live in a low-income community, this is all passed in that $3.5 trillion recon, cluster number 1. Also in there, $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks, MSCs. The CTC, the child tax credit, broadened the eligibility and increased the amount of money. How much? Up to $300 a month. Every month to up to 18 years. This is $51,000 a child. They got money in there for college students directly to the university, to the student, and also the Pell's grant made tax-free. And finally, in this first cluster of several clusters of the $3.5 trillion recon passed in that subcommittee, they got money for bikes and cars and trucks, all electric, all U.S. auto manufactured. First 15% for the purchase of a new electric bike, $7,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, personal use, and a little bit more for business use. Wow. In a second, we go to the second cluster of checks, but no one saw this one coming. I didn't see it coming. How about an addition to the $15,000 that these three clusters pay viewers this channel, an additional $25,000 on top of that? Yes. The shocker came this week as Sharon Brown, Maxine Waters, and Raphael Warnock introduced legislation to be proposed on top of the recon, to be added into the recon, that'll pay you $25,000 of hard cash to go buy a home. What's the eligibility? New home buyers. How would this work? I believe they would likely give you the money during escrow so that the money would go directly to the seller and your burden during the transaction would be $25,000 or less. It's hard cash, it's upfront, and it's deliciousness. With that, let's go to the second cluster checks of this $3.5 trillion recon passed in the subcommittee of the House. It pays you about $15,000. And what's the second cluster of checks? Are you ready for them? I am too. More money for the home. Yeah, they got a lot of money for items for the home in these clusters. This second cluster is incredible with more home repairs and paid leave. Remember, the recon is for everyone, and the recon has nothing to do with COVID. There you go. We got paid family and paid medical leave. How much is this? This is a lot. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 or more per year. Paid family leave, you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Paid medical leave, you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. They also got money in there for child care tax credits, household tax credits, but guess what? They also got more money in there for the home. What for the home? Weatherizing your home. Definitely need to weatherize your home, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. There you go. And they also got checks in the second cluster for pre-kindergarten and tuition-free community college. It's deliciousness. What is Congress doing? Well, Congress had a lot of breaking news this week as Bernie Jalopal, AOC, Pelosi, and others spoke out about the recon. What did they say? Here are the details across the board. First, Bernie Sanders says it's absolutely incumbent upon the senators and the House members, some House members, in opposition to start telling us what they want, referring to the moderate Democrats who have never very clearly said what they don't like in the recon, if anything at all. We know that from Kristen Sinema, she doesn't want the cheaper prescription medication. That's in third cluster coming up in a second. And Joe Manchin doesn't want some of the climate issues in there as well. Well, that was number one. Then Bernie Sanders also said, I don't know if I want to negotiate with myself, meaning he wants to hear what the moderate Democrats want before he gets off a number. We have new details from Pelosi revealing where the move on the $3.5 trillion will go, and then we have new comments from Jalopal on where it could head, and then also whether that deadline of the surface transportation deadline by October is a real deadline or a fake deadline. Then we have Bob Casey. I forgot to lead with Bob Casey. Bob Casey, the senator, is proposing more money for you if you're on SSI and SSDI. Yeah, you got to stay with me all throughout this recording, especially the final 15 minutes of this video, because we got a lot in today's show. Let's cut back to the second cluster of checks that are so far in there. Third cluster of checks, and they are deliciousness. The third cluster includes more money for my seniors and more money for workers. And this brings us back to Bob Casey, ironically, because the exclusive on this one comes from Bob Casey. The third cluster of checks involves money for free internet as well. Here we go. Free school meals for all, checks in this third cluster. Cheaper prescription medication, checks. Then we have checks for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for clean energy, checks for workers, and checks for Medicare. And that is checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing, checks for seniors, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. Well, here comes a big exclusive, and it's courtesy of Bob Casey's office. Bob Casey's office tells Lorica, a viewer of this channel, that he's looking to drop the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60. Wow, this is a big one. And to make it even clear, and I'm glad I sort of forgot Bob Casey early in the video because I'm going to put him right here, is that Bob Casey is proposing another provision in the recon on top of that. So I want you to understand it's not yet in the clusters. It's something additionally he wants to add in there. And what is it? It's $250 billion additionally that I haven't mentioned so far for seniors. This is huge. What would it be for? For things like home health care. What does he want to do? He wants to expand Medicare and expand money for people on disabilities with $250 billion given to the states that then would administer the programs to you. One of the reasons is that a lot of people are having their sons and daughters stay at home to care for the elderly parents because Medicare at home is too expensive. Home health care is too expensive. Bob Casey, who is 61 years old, by the way, and also a Pennsylvania Democrat, is proposing big money so that you can have home health care at home totally paid for free from your state. And so that will allow your son and daughter to go back in the workforce. It's a double benefit across the board. He says within our caucus, it always is required and still required to constant repetition. Bob Casey says he has to continually repeat this across the board. And people ask him, why is this so great? He says, let's do more of this. We haven't done this in really 40 years. This is as the new labor numbers came out this morning. You know, it's a Thursday morning. You've been with me for this channel. And remember in 2020, when I reported 25 weeks of unemployment, new unemployment claims over 1 million. And I always told you what happened when we started. The very first day of the pandemic, remember, the unemployment claims were about 250, 260. Yes, so guess what the new unemployment claims were today? 290. Wow, that is wonderful. That is mind-blowingly wonderful. This is the first time we have seen unemployment claims get under 300,000 since this channel's been around. We were at 700, we were at 800, and we were at 1,000,002 for nearly 30 weeks. Incredible, great news. Can the news top that? We can. As we go into something you have never heard anywhere else, and it's something you're a part of. A chief of staff for one of the number one senators involved with the recon reached out to a viewer yesterday and said, you know what? Lalate has now delivered to our Senate office more calls of advocacy for inclusion of a monthly IRS stimulus check than the American petition. The American petition is currently at 2.9 trillion signatures. So that means you have made nearly 3 million calls to just one senator's office. You got to call them all. The comments that came in overnight, you're hearing it for the first time, is the following. The new update is that congressional and senatorial offices have received in advocacy from Lalate and the Purple Power more calls than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone is amazed by the outpouring of support. They don't know what to say, and they have never seen it anywhere, and they want to thank you across the board. I'll have a printout of this graphic and read it on air later tonight on Evenings LA because it's a little hard to read with that graphic. There you go. Advocacy starts here. Advocacy doesn't start here. And guess what? Number one guy that determines when things are called for vote wants you to have a monthly stimulus check. It's Chuck Schumer. He's the number one guy in the Senate, and he determines when things get added. Let's explain how this works, and let's explain the dates. Number one. We have a recon that passed in the House subcommittee 2 weeks ago. It's a package, not a bill. $3.5 trillion with 3 clusters of checks in there that will pay you about $15,000. Then we have people trying to propose to get things added to there, which they can. Maxine Waters trying to add in $25,000 to buy a new house. Bob Casey trying to add in big money for people on SSI and SSDI. And then us trying to add in those monthly stimulus checks as well, and the senators backing us. Well, here is how this could become a reality. Number one, House side. Number two, Senate side. First, the House has several opportunities. First, they can modify the recon package before it becomes a bill. Number one legislator who wrote that recon package is Sheila Jackson, the number two in the Progressive Caucus. Number two, they can also modify it once it becomes a bill. Once it becomes a House bill, the House members can modify the language before they call for a vote. Number 3, the Senate. The Senate receives whatever they get from the House, and if the House doesn't take care of the situation, the senators can. And boy, when we're talking about Bernie, Liz, and Chuck, you know they're going to really step up if you make the push. And they have a 2-day votorama. That 2-day votorama is 2 days of voting at the very end of the entire process. Those 2 days of voting is where they enter and vote on changes to whatever was given to them from the House, called amendments to what was ever given to them from the House. Who determines the amendments? Called Chuck Schumer. Who writes some of the amendments? Chuck Schumer. Who determines and calls them for vote? Chuck Schumer. And who wants to add a monthly stimulus check provision amendment on the Senate side? Chuck Schumer's office, telling Debbie Applegate and also Donnie's wife the week before that. We have had now 3 million of you calling those congressional offices in the last 8 weeks. You need to keep on picking up the phone and advocating. Advocacy starts here. And what is advocacy? It's explaining why you need the money and how you need the money. With the Democrats looking at $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 running for 6 weeks, who are the people you should call? What are the numbers you should call? Here we go. On the House, you should, oops, wrong graphic. On the Senate, you should be calling Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden. Have you called all of them? Have you advocated yet? You know how to advocate. I've covered it on this channel. Then on the House side, you should be calling Sheila Jackson out of Texas. She is the number 2 in the progressive. Jalopal, Omar, AOC, and Pelosi. And with that, we got a lot coming up in the second half of this video. With student loan debt forgiveness, with more about that 6% raise of your benefits in just the next few weeks. This is law. This is not proposal or bill. It's law now. And then we go over to 5th stimulus. We go over to 4th stimulus, which has more money across the board. And then we have the latest details of all these monies being added to the recon. We got a big recording. We got a big show today. Stay with me. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now, direct from Santa Monica, California, as a beautiful weekend is upon us. I hope you're going to have a good one as well. But stay with me because we have less than about 10 days away for this recon to be finished. You don't want to disappear for the entire weekend and come back because guess what? We got cluster number 1, cluster number 2, and cluster number 3 that'll pay viewers about $15,000. And then battle to keep everything in those clusters. You want them to stay in those clusters. So what are they modifying? In the second half of this video, I'll explain what they're modifying, and it's all deliciousness. We'll be cutting back to over to those IRS stimulus checks. We'll be going over to that advocacy. We'll be cutting to that $25,000. And guess what? We got more. We got the incredible great news about lift of your benefits of 6% of COLA. That's happening in the next few weeks. This is SSI, SSDI, and Social Security. We got big money that you can go into this weekend getting, and guess what that money is? It's third stimulus. And then we go over to fifth stimulus because we're just weeks away from that as well. We got a big show coming up in the second half. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Overnights Crypto and Evenings LA at 5. Then Street and Stimulus then Overnight, then Evenings Countdown at 6. Street and Stimulus at 7 and Sirloin at 8. And I'm so excited for you because now the shows from 9 to 12:30 at night are all about forced stimulus when I started recording about forced stimulus in April. Yeah, I'd spin that. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to where we are with the incredible great news that no one saw coming. As a chief of staff for one of the most important Senate offices in D.C., says you have delivered now 3 million calls of advocacy, but you can't stop any moment whatsoever. One viewer was so nice last night in the Evenings Countdown. He said, should I make calls every day? I said, absolutely. If you have time, make the calls every day. Remember the advocacy. If you don't know what advocacy is, watch some of the videos earlier this week with $25,000 being advocated to be added in there. The Bob Casey advocating to put in more money for seniors and also disability. And then we have the surprise of what's going on with modifications. So let's turn it to, and of course, those are monthly stimulus checks, which they're looking at $2,000 a month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months is where they're laser focused at the moment. Let's go first to the big surprise for student loan debt before we cut back to forced stimulus. Student loan debt, which is not part of forced stimulus, but is by its standalone, got a real surprise this week. Another round of student loan debt being forgiven. First, the president forgave student loan debt for people who became disabled after graduation. Their debts wiped away. Second, then the president forgave student loan debt just a few days ago for individuals who went into nonprofit sector work or work for a government agency like city, county, or state for at least 10 years. Your debt is now wiped away as well. So the next group, the president says, I'll wipe away everyone's debt up to $10,000. It's incredible. This would be standalone and not part of the recon, but you never know. Maybe you'll get added in there as well. So what's going on with the dramatics of the nuances of the recon? First, let's go over how things are getting added and how things are getting removed. And also, let's go over the elements of what Pelosi, Omar, and also Jalopal said. Let's start with them first, actually. Well, the interesting thing is that Bernie Sanders says, I do not want to negotiate against myself. I need to hear from the moderate Democrats what they want. This has been a very consistent theme that the moderate Democrats have really not stepped forward and said what they want. And so the president's trying to get them to say it and has not succeeded. And now Bernie's trying to push them to say it and has not succeeded. Pelosi and the president have set a deadline of by Halloween, to call a vote on your roads and bridges and recon. But she says, in the next few days, we're likely to have major progress. We're going to have some important decisions to make in the next few days so that we can proceed. That was Pelosi's comment on Tuesday, so it could be by the end of the week. Bernie Sanders says we're prepared to negotiate and we're prepared to compromise, but we're not going to negotiate against ourselves. That's saying that he doesn't know what number to drop to on the recon if he doesn't hear clarification from the moderate Democrats. There's a term called the surface transportation deadline. The surface transportation deadline is a fake deadline. In October, the moderate Democrats said we have to do the roads and bridges by that deadline. Jalopal said, no, you can just extend it. You can just extend it with a quick vote. And they did. So now, once again, the moderate Democrats are using October 31st as a surface transportation deadline to get both the recon and the roads and bridges to a vote. I like it because it gets things done. Jalopal says we want to work as quickly as possible, but we can always extend the surface transportation deadline. And Steny Hoyer, the majority leader of the House, who's a Democrat, has said that everyone needs to make this happen. So what is Pelosi looking to do? Pelosi said this week we have two opportunities of how to get the recon from $3.5 trillion to a number in the $2 trillion range. Option number 1, remove particular programs altogether. Option 2, keep every program in there 100% how they are, 100% payout how they are, just shorten the duration. Obviously, option number 2 is the one I want, and certainly the one that Jalopal wants. Jalopal says we would reduce the number of years because the universality of the benefits and the immediacy of the benefits are absolutely critical. And frankly, it's more important to us to have it than having it for the entire 10 years. Listen to those words, 10 years. I'm going to come back to in a second. And Jalopal said, we're happy that Pelosi mentioned this in her press conference. Two ways to modify the recon. And those two ways to modify the recon, Pelosi detailed. But there really is a third way to modify the recon. Let's go over what's at issue and why this week is looking a little bit similar to last week. Last week, all the progressives said every item that's in the recon is staying in. Every program is staying in there. And no program is getting reduced. So, for example, $4,000 of elder care is staying in there, not getting removed, the program. And number two, the program is not going to pay less. So it's not going to pay $200 versus $4,000 per year. So how do they make the changes? On duration or the taxes? And guess who was the first person to talk about the duration? Me. I talked about it a week ago last Monday, and then by Wednesday last week, Jalopal talked about it. And now the great news is that Jalopal is confirming what I thought was the case, but wasn't certain of the case, that most of the programs at $3.5 trillion are 10 years, because you know what I've been saying, reduce them to 5 years. How do they do this? This is very, very simple math. Follow along with me. Bernie Sanders went into the negotiations to do a recon originally with the senators before there was any vote, saying I want $7 trillion. Many of the programs we think were upwards of 20-year programs. Why so long? Because the president wanted to leave a legacy with programs that would impact the American landscape for many generations to come. Democrats in the meeting, the senator said, we're not doing $7 trillion recon, we'll do something smaller. Bernie said, fine, I'll do $3.5 trillion. I'll cut the duration. That's how he said at the time. I didn't know where he cut the duration. I was speculating that maybe it was 10 years. We now have from this new comment from Jalopal that yes, that these programs are ostensibly 10-year programs at $3.5 trillion, which pays you about $15,000 approximately per year money viewers this channel. So what's the solution? Don't remove a program. Don't water down a program. Just take it from 10 years into a shorter duration. For example, if you reduce it to 5 years, suddenly it goes from 3.5 to 1.7. Very, very easy to get this done. That is how the solution works. And so what are they doing? They're trying to really shorten the duration, and it really should be the easiest way to do it because the other option, taxes, is not a very popular option. Why is this not a popular option? They have certain tax changes they want to do to close loopholes among billionaires and Fortune 500 companies that are not paying their fair share of taxes. And they don't want to leave those loopholes open. So to keep those closed, and do it as they wanted to do it, they can go back over to this duration and just shorten the programs. Why is this great for you? Because you want the biggest amount of money right now in the middle of the pandemic. You don't want things watered down or things paying you 8 years from now, 9 years from now. You want big sums of money right now. And if there's and then get yourself back on your feet, and you'll be back on your feet ASAP. You're not really worried about 8 years or 9 years from now. You're worried about now. And that's why this is working. It works, and this is why I like it, and certainly Jalopal as well. COLA, what a big surprise that no one saw coming. Everyone's COLA benefits are getting about a 5.8% raise. This is huge. Social Security Administration every year about this time announces where your benefits are going to go up. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits. And I would have never predicted that the COLA number would come in at 5.8%. This is big. Why is it so big? Because it means all your benefits checks will go up that amount in the next few weeks. And once they go up, they never go down. So that means that next year, if COLA is flat, you're still going to stay the same. You're not going to go less. You're going to always stay at this stepped up basis. This is also very big because in the month of August, I said this stimulus, we're looking at a step up of 5%. You're getting that now under COLA. What went on and what is going on with fifth stimulus? Let me explain COLA versus fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is a body of legislation that they propose to get to vote by December. What does it do? It reforms all these benefit systems. Several ways it reforms the benefit systems. First, it gives you a big step up a lifetime. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits. Do you still get that step up even with this COLA thing coming in? Yes. This is a one-time step up. So it's in addition to what's going on with COLA right now. Next, they're going to apply a new benchmark. People were asking me last night, what's a benchmark? Benchmark is what they take your benefits and times them by. So let's say you're getting $1,000 a month, then the COLA is being announced. Let's say it's 6%. It's a simple number. That means you would get an extra. Let's do really quick math in the brain. You'll get an extra $60 a month with that COLA benchmark. COLA is a benchmark. Under fifth stimulus, they're proposing to remove COLA, get rid of it, and replace it with a new benchmark. That's inflation. Let's say inflation is 10%. Then instead of $60, you'll get an extra $100. Now, here is what's fascinating, and let me go over this slowly, is that you're getting the COLA. It is definitely happening. This is law. But if fifth stimulus becomes a law, then you get everything else on top of that. On top of that, additionally, not a replacement, on top of that. So you'll first get that raise up if you're benefits that one-time raise up. Then next year, you'll be tied to inflation, or if they get it by December. But it's getting really close now. So next year, you would be tied to inflation, which means that if inflation is red hot in December of next year, October, November, then you would step up an additional percentage point on top of that. Wow. They're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. So love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. Marriage penalty will go away, and you'll be able to do a pair dance at your own wedding like Rob and Sandy. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, and love will win. Let's turn over to the big surprise that no one saw coming, which is third stimulus. Third stimulus shows where this channel is based and shows where the heart of this channel is, getting money. We're here to cash checks, not to track checks. If you started this week at a certain dollar watching this channel, how are you ending the week at? Have you gotten more money from this channel than you started the week at? If you answer yes, good. If you're answering no, then you still got more days across this week to do it. I'm going to show you how to end this week with money you didn't have until you watched this channel, starting right now. Get a pen and paper ready, and I love some of the comments I'm getting from some viewers. Like Margaret, she got an extra few $100 here. I had some people send me messages on social media. I still have to go through them. They're wonderful. They say, this week I got an extra $1,000 here. That's what we do here. That's money. Money is money. If it's a couple $100, a couple extra $1,000, it works. And Prina last week started the week at zero, and by the end of the week, she got $6,000 from my recordings. What did she get it for? For rent. And how did she get it for? City of Austin. She heard my recording, which said, get that Department of Treasury statement from the newsletter, read it before you call for the rent, ask them about it, because they're going to say they don't know what you're talking about. That's what they always do. Every city always plays that game with you. And then you're going to say, this is what I want. Oh, we do have it. And she got 8 months of rent into 2022 at $6,000. Get a pen and paper ready. Time to get you some money right now. And we get some money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. We're going to get some money for food. Also show you how to get clothing, small appliances, nominal home repairs, and even holiday gifts. We got all that coming up right now. First, we're going to go over the money for rent. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility, and they have different pots of money. Next, listen for the keywords I say in this video, and get ready for the nonprofits. There's 5 of them. And if you are a member of this channel, this is all detailed in the newsletter. Here are the 6 places you reach out to for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There you go. And here's the numbers for rent that people are getting. Boy, it was $20,000 for Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth, all Purple Hawks, for rent. But now, Jen getting $40,000 for rent. What a growth across the board. Utilities, huge. Mark's brother-in-law, $15,000 just a few days ago. So if you have 5 utility companies, reach out to all 5. If you've got money before, get some more money. Call them back and ask for some more money into 2022. Number 3, SNAP. SNAP is money for food. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. If you qualify for a stimulus check, you generally qualify for SNAP. And how much? It's huge. Average benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime, automatically nationwide, starting this month. And Mark's brother-in-law going from $21,000 to $26,000. Then we go to the nonprofits. The greatest thing about the nonprofits is that they do different eligibility. If you really do have a belief that you aren't eligible, reach out to the nonprofits. Now let's go back over something. I've been doing these recordings for over a year, and I know last year how people would always jump in the live chat. I don't qualify for anything. I don't qualify for anything. I never qualify for anything. I don't even qualify for a t-shirt. Yeah, you do. Did you make 6 calls? No, I made 1 call. My brother's uncle's sister's neighbor's hairdresser says I don't qualify. Stop listening to the hairdresser. Yeah, stop listening to the hairdresser. Make the phone calls. You got 6 calls to call about the rent. If they all 6 literally say you don't qualify, then lean on the nonprofits. And I got 5 for you to call. That means you got 11 calls to make before you write in the comments, I don't qualify for rent. 11 calls to make before you say, I don't qualify for rent. And here are the 5 nonprofits that do all the same items, generally under third stimulus, but with their own eligibility. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. The next thing great about the nonprofits is they pay for a lot of items that third stimulus doesn't cover. And they cover some stuff that I don't even know that they cover. So if you're an individual who says, I'm having problems with my bills, I really need a fourth stimulus check. I always say, what bills do you have? Food. They pay for food. I need money for holiday gifts. They provide holiday gifts. I need a space heater. It's really cold. They pay for space heaters. I need help with my utilities. They pay for that as well. They pay for these items. So here again are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They also pay for homeless people in the shelters. They help with clothing. They help with holiday gifts. That's Salvation Army. They do them now. Reach out to them right now, Salvation Army, for those holiday gifts. And also reach out to all the nonprofits right now, because their quick turnaround time is amazing, because it's not cold outside that much yet. Like St. Vincent de Paul, quick turnaround time for rent, and United Way, quick turnaround time for rent. Viewers reported 24-hour turnaround times to getting funded. Incredible. Finally, the money for unemployment benefits from your state due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. Yeah, it's coming back to you. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state. And then the refund check from 2020 unemployment tax return, where you pay taxes on the unemployment benefits. It's coming back. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it. Kyle got it. If you got any sums of money, post it in the live chat right now, and I'll feature them in this channel, because when you do that, you inspire other people. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The membership link is under the video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Daily, I deliver the newsletter to you featuring the big money you can get. That newsletter goes out 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, via the YouTube alert system and the Lalate alert system, which is totally free, by the way, news.lalate.com/alerts. That newsletter is so important because it features all the big money you can get under first, second, and third stimulus, and everything that's proposed under fourth stimulus. I love the questions and comments coming in. People saying, how do I get those home repairs under fourth stimulus? I'll show you. I'll show you all those things under fourth stimulus. For now, let me show you the money I can get you under third stimulus. When third stimulus became law, I said I can get viewers of this channel about $15,000. You ain't going to see anywhere on broadcast media, YouTube channels, print media, anyone trying or even putting an effort in to get you money for the third stimulus or second stimulus or first stimulus or EIDL. No one does this. No one tries to help people get money. That's what I do here. I help you get the money. All you have to do is make the phone call. All you have to do is read the newsletter. All you have to do is rely upon the community page, which, by the way, is totally free. All you have to do is make the phone call, because this is about helping people. And it's about getting this money. You can start this week at $0 and end this week at more than $1 because of the viewers, because you're viewing these videos of this channel. What's important to understand is, as soon as third stimulus became law, I said I can get you more than $15,000. Average viewer of this channel has gotten $40,000 from third stimulus. Now, when we look at fourth stimulus, I think I can get you about $15,000 from fourth stimulus. We'll see if it's more or not. It's huge, but this is what's going on. 3 viewers this channel started the week several weeks ago at $0. By the middle of the week, they got $40,000. 3 viewers got $40,000. 1 viewer got $80,000 by the weekend. His name, Johnny. How many items did he get? 7. He heard my message. He didn't make 1 phone call. He made at least 7 phone calls because he got 7 items approved. Imagine how many phone calls he made in 5 days to get 7 items approved. He's not alone. Mark, $51,000. Lorraine, $110,000. What they're doing is they're picking up the phone and calling. This money's available for you. It's available right now. And with that, I'm really excited because the nighttime shows on this channel, which start after sirloin, 9, 10, 11, and 12:30 at night now on this channel. Excuse me, 9, 10, and 11:30 at night on this channel. And the 3 and 3:30 a.m. shows are now all about forced stimulus. I was the first to cover forced stimulus. I started covering forced stimulus about April 2nd, April 3rd. And that is why there is so much in-depth coverage of all this money across forced stimulus. But please advocate. Please advocate. Pick up the phone and call Senator Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden, and AOC Omar, Jalopal, Pelosi. Tell your story, why you need it. Your personal story, why you need this money. It may be medical, may be personal, it may be family. I need it because of a divorce. I need it because I broke my legs. I need it because I lost my business. I need it because I'm raising 2 children and I don't have enough money. I need it because this is what's happening with my town. Tell your particular story. You're not Dora the Check Explorer. You're an advocate. You're Lalate. You're Purple Power. You're a viewer of this channel, and I'm so proud you're here. And I look forward to seeing you next on Overnight's Crypto and Evenings Lalate tonight at 5 o'clock. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. We push together and we win together. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with Lalate for more.